Buddha's teachings. No worries over gains and losses. Let go of attachments for peace. When you encounter sorrow or events that do not go as you wish, remember that life is about going through these challenges just once. We come into this life empty-handed, and we leave the same way. We bring no grain of sand when we arrive and carry away no trace of cloud when we depart. When we feel dissatisfied with our own lives, let's remember those who are less fortunate. Recognizing we have enough is true happiness. Compared to the ill, our happiness is good health. Compared to the departed, our happiness is simply being alive. To live well, our minds must be simple. Ask yourself when feeling sad. When feeling unhappy, ask yourself, if tomorrow the ultimate end, death, were to come for me, should I spend today in joy or in dejection? After thinking it through, you likely won't feel sad anymore. When angry, think, do I really need to be upset because of a person who doesn't deserve it? Why not just eat well, sleep well, and take good care of myself? When you want to calculate every advantage, remember, we arrive empty-handed to this world. Why obsess over gains and losses? Why not yield a step? Speaking too much can hurt others. Scheming too much can exhaust your own spirit. A human life only needs one thing, not to do anything that shames your conscience. Live comfortably and serenely, that is precious enough. What people say about you. Life is hurried, our human existence is small, and before you know it, half your life is gone. Everyone accumulates plenty of harsh words said about them. Strong people will ignore and not care. The mouth of the world, if you're weak, you may feel as though those words are arrows piercing your mind, destroying your self-confidence. Are you strong or weak? If you allow others to easily affect your emotions, you are like a flame. Just one slight touch to your pride can make you burn fiercely. Don't be foolish enough to let others control you. Don't complicate your life. You may not be pleased or satisfied when someone speaks ill of you, but don't be sad. Keep your mind steady. This is the way of the wise. Memorize these 3 sentences. A weak person will seek revenge in order to live happily. A strong person will choose forgiveness. A wise person will let it go. The higher your expectations, the greater your suffering. People are like leaves that change color over time. Consider it carefully. We look for one another in this life mostly to patch up the loneliness within ourselves. In truth, nobody truly belongs to anyone else. Then why treat another person as if they were your very breath? Because the mind is impermanent. Those who bring us great happiness can equally bring us profound sorrow. A heart that is too sensitive or too indifferent is like carrying a burden of misfortune in this fragile, impermanent world. As a child, a small wound feels unbearable. Only later do we learn we must endure many wounds to truly mature. Don't pray that life brings no troubles. Instead, train to transform all troubles that arise, on being good-hearted yet discerning. Bodhi awakened kindness is precious, but if one lacks clarity, it easily becomes weakness. We know kindness is something we choose in how we treat others, or offer tolerance in difficult times. But in today's society, if you are not skillful or flexible, you can be taken advantage of. For example, helping a poor, hungry person with one meal can solve an immediate hardship. Surely you'll receive gratitude. But if you continue to give meals daily, that person may become accustomed to it as an entitlement. Over time, after receiving routinely, they might feel one meal is too little, 2 meals are not enough, and even 3 might not satisfy them. The greedy are like a vast sea into which your goodwill vanishes without a trace. Remember, in this world, if you are too kind and keep nothing for yourself, you may enable someone else's unreasonable demands. Excessive leniency invites being exploited. If you aren't discerning and indiscriminately help anyone, you may unintentionally support harmful behaviors. Sometimes, excessive tolerance allows wrongdoing to continue and ruins the positive intention that started it all. Therefore, be a person who is both kind-hearted and wise. Know how to use wisdom to punish bad deeds, encourage good actions, be gentle and loving with those who deserve it, and remain firm and sharp toward negativity. Always remind yourself to nurture a benevolent heart. Yet you must respond differently depending on the situation and the person. If you have no principles, others will break boundaries. Doing good without principle, over time, becomes a burden. A good heart with clear insight is what's truly valuable. If you only have goodness but do not protect yourself and others, it is hard to get far in this life. Thus, the armor that defends a kind person is wisdom and principle. Only with these two do we have the strength to walk the philanthropic path. May each of us possess both, so that no one loses faith in humanity, in life, or in living simply because they tried to be good. A story of an elderly couple. There was an older couple. The wife performed daily rituals each afternoon, ceremony, striking the wooden fish, chanting sutras. The husband enjoyed doing manual work and sitting to watch people passing by. Additionally, the wife was very strict and obsessed with cleanliness. The husband was mild-mannered and prone to forgetting and dropping things. Consequently, every day the wife would say, "You dropped something again." Sometimes, while she was meditating or chanting, the husband would drop something. A loud noise startled her, and she scolded him, but he never argued back. This kept happening again and again. One day, while they both were tidying up the house, he dropped something. She scolded him. After listening, he gently said, "You've dropped something, dear." Startled, she looked around but saw nothing. Irritated, she replied, "What have I dropped?" He responded softly, "You've dropped your peace, your calm." Every evening, she found her peace again by chanting and striking the wooden fish. Yet immediately afterward, she would lose it again without even realizing. Peace is a matter of mindset. You see, both a monk and a layperson can share the same inner peace. Peace does not depend entirely on whether you chant or pray, nor is it overwhelmed by life's hardships. It depends on our character and our way of living. Peace emerges from practicing non-reaction, non-resistance, simply noting whatever arises. We often blame life for being twisted. Why don't we first make sure our own mind is steady and round with understanding? Whenever we criticize or judge someone for their clumsiness or mistakes, we ourselves become clumsy by abandoning our tranquility. So, dear friends, open your heart to the vastness of the sky and earth. Let calm and gentleness approach with each sunrise, warming every cell of your body and mind. In stillness, awaken beyond 1,000 years of confusion. See life with childlike wonder, a boundless heart touching the shores of love. Let go for a moment. Sit with pink rosary beads in the broad daylight. Though 100 years of worry bustle in and out, no true happiness and peace lie right in your heart. Those who refine the muddy to clarity will sense compassion blooming within. Love radiates from the core, embracing all beings, seeing that countless creatures share our essential nature. A once confused soul, after many years, returns to the ocean of awareness. Within this ever-changing world, a lotus forever blossoms. We step calmly in life, hearing the echo of heaven and earth in our hearts, unstoppable once the mind's lotus has bloomed. Truly, those who cultivate altruism will feel peace and joy blossom within. Those who remain self-serving, entangled in greed and anxiety, will drift in circles of suffering. Reflect deeply to understand this. We own nothing truly. Look around. When you see that, you become more compassionate, sending loving gazes in all directions, north, south, east, west, regarding them all as kin, not enemies, accepting imperfection for greater happiness. One of humanity's deep sorrows is demanding absolute perfection from others in their treatment of us. When we can accept the relative nature of how people treat us, happiness is immediately within reach, right in the present moment. Acceptance of imperfection fosters a more generous heart, grows our faith in people and life, and reduces dissatisfaction and disappointment. In reality, the very foundation of life is mutual support, between individuals, between one thing and another, between different worlds, and across different lifetimes. No one lives without dying. Nothing dies without reappearing in some form. Because life is interdependent, it's relative. Thus, no one can live entirely alone, nor is anyone perfectly faultless. If you let go of prejudices and look closely at the people you resent, you will see in them unexpected traits that are actually endearing. Perhaps what you currently dislike about them is only relatively unlikable. By the same token, examine objectively those you love and admire the most. They too have flaws, failings, and many imperfect points. Thus, the qualities you find so admirable in them are also only relatively praiseworthy. Knowing there is nothing absolutely perfect in this world, you won't hate so harshly those you find unappealing. Equally, you won't drown in blind adoration for those you admire, loving them unconditionally, without discernment. Like the saying goes, when in love, even an odd-shaped lump of clay looks precious. In short, with a more objective view of reality, you'll feel more at ease relating to those you find agreeable or disagreeable. Often, we imprison ourselves in the narrow cells of like and hate, clinging to illusions of absolute perfection. We ourselves are not perfect, yet demand absolute perfection of everything around us. That is why we suffer. When you truly awaken to this, ask yourself, who can help you live more happily, think more positively, and act more objectively? Only one person, yourself. If you often remind yourself, life is not absolutely perfect, you'll find it much easier and more pleasant to interact with everyone. Happiness only sprouts when we transform our inner perspective. It arrives only when the heart truly opens. Being human, both easy and hard. Being human can sound simple, yet it's not so simple to move the hearts of thousands toward righteousness or to manage the world's gossip. It can sound difficult, yet it isn't too difficult. Just keep a kind heart, be a gentle person, walk your own path, and feel content in that, no matter what. No matter how well you live, some will praise you while others criticize. No matter how successful you are, some will mock, some will judge. Flowers come in 100 shapes and 1,000 colors, each able to blossom and spread its fragrance without hindrance. Likewise, each person has a unique way of life. So why not uplift one another instead of trying to drag others down? For what purpose is that? Right or wrong, good or bad, depends on each person's perspective. The crucial point is not forcing sameness upon all differences, but smoothing over the competitive, envious, and stubborn mindset in our own hearts. Try causing someone distress, and when you return home, your mind unsettled, you will realize the sadness you caused them is also your own. Try offering someone a bit of gentleness, and the heat of summer might feel like the mildness of autumn. A softness carried within extends across the world with warm generosity. Close your eyes once to listen deeply, hear the sorrows spread across mountains and valleys, yet sense something miraculous as tears turn into clouds. Life is beautiful when we learn to console one another. Offer a smile, suddenly the world feels open and full. When we have love and understanding, heaven's joy will flow everywhere. I choose kindness, not because of ignorance, but because I understand kindness is inherent in human nature, and cruelty certainly brings retribution. I choose to yield, not out of fear, but because I see that giving in a little can calm the storm. Stepping back can reveal a vast sky and wide ocean. I choose compassion, not from cowardice, but because I believe that among people, mutual acceptance and support make life complete. I choose silence, not from lack of knowledge, but because I know that in the face of misunderstanding, anger, and injustice, opening one's heart and refraining from calculations will allow matters to pass lightly. I choose forgiveness, not from lacking principles, but because to forgive others is also to forgive ourselves. You can't erase everything in a single moment. I choose honesty, not out of stubbornness, but because living in truth feels much lighter than hiding behind falsehoods. Deception cannot yield beautiful results. Living among imperfections. Life inevitably brings disappointments and people who are careless with our feelings. If we can't see these issues lightly or let them go, we'll stay troubled. People differ in education, values, upbringing, so their perspectives and ways of handling situations also differ. Conflicts and clashes sometimes happen, it's normal. At times like these, forgiveness acts as an umbrella, shielding you in the storm. Forgiving someone else frees you, allowing you to move forward despite the turbulence. Sometimes enduring a small hardship, having a generous heart, or accepting a minor loss is not weakness or cowardice. It's how you keep your path unburdened and unobstructed. Life is like the sky. It can't always be bright and cloudless to please you. Sometimes it's gloomy and stormy, causing you distress. Similarly, good luck and happiness cannot be constant. At times you will be handed bitterness and difficulties. So open your heart, practice living with acceptance, walk past the people or events that trouble you. The world usually doesn't care how many injustices you've borne or how much pain you've endured. It only notices the results you can offer. When storms rage in your life, just remind yourself, if I go through these clouds, the sun will appear again. Don't waste effort complaining or sighing, for most people won't pay attention anyway. Some issues, once you let them go, immediately feel lighter. Some people, simply thinking of them, can already make you happy. Certain pains, once you figure them out, can help you become stronger. Obsessing over something can keep you stuck. Even a simple problem, if overthought, becomes complicated. Conversely, if you maintain calmness and open-heartedness, even a complex issue can become simple and manageable. Gain and loss, moving forward. In life, to gain also means to lose. Giving does not always bring immediate return. Life has its own workings. The future awaits, so keep walking. Give yourself a pair of wings of freedom, allowing you to step beyond pain and entanglement to be a happier person. Forget your years and age. Don't let time make your soul old. Regardless of how many birthdays have passed, if your heart is still youthful, that's what matters. Rise above the temptations of fame and fortune, for they are external objects and inherently impermanent. Everyone wants a bit of recognition or benefit. They compete, then blame life as unfair if they don't get their way. In truth, a life of simplicity and normalcy is the greatest happiness. When encountering troubles, find a moment of stillness, a space to let your mind settle. Look at the small roadside flowers, though tiny, they keep blooming to add color to the world, making it suddenly more radiant, on sharing and moderation. In life, when there are benefits, don't seize them all for yourself. After a lifetime of hoarding, you'll never truly know contentment. Stop at the right time. Even if you're right, don't push someone to the absolute limit. Worldly arguments can continue for eons without resolution. Winning may cost you your compassion and tranquility. Even if you're exceptionally talented, never mock others. Comparing people easily causes hurt. Comparing objects easily leads to discarding one or the other. If you act overly shrewd, people will suspect you. If you are too perfectionistic, you'll provoke hostility. If you're too arrogant, you'll be shunned. Overthinking leads to anxiety. Being too meticulous can trap you in your own illusions. Wanting too much makes you weary. Only when you find contentment inside can your days flow freely, body and mind at peace, and life become clearer. Sometimes a harsh word triggers conflict, whereas a kind sentence can plant seeds of goodness. At times, you may need 1,000 words to guide someone, yet a single malicious remark might destroy it all. Hence, every word should be chosen carefully and responsibly to avoid regret. Everyone has their strengths. Simply learn from others' good points, reduce criticism. That way, anyone can be a teacher to help you improve. Spending all day admiring others' merits cannot compare to practicing self-reflection diligently and learning in earnest. Trying to scheme so no one surpasses you cannot compare to quietly strengthening yourself. Reevaluating our suffering. Sometimes we look back at the things that once troubled us or enticed us and realize they weren't worth it, or we think of something that once caused heartbreak and see it as light as a passing breeze. Therefore, no matter what happens, don't be rash. Be calm, composed. A slight openness can solve countless problems. Why do some people, after middle age, have kind, benevolent faces, while others look harsh and hostile? Because one's appearance arises from the mind. It changes according to our thoughts. If the mind is beautiful, the face becomes gentle. Love can nourish a person. A heart full of love shows in every gesture. But if you always fuss over gains and losses, you'll be haunted by suffering wherever you go. Goodness gives rise to virtue. Intelligence is an innate gift, but kindness is a choice. Perhaps being kind won't grant you everything you desire, yet it offers you a settled mind. Our minds are like roads. The more we clear them, the wider they become, so it is better to expand the mind. A generous heart broadens life. A big house can't compare to a big heart. Good fortune can't compare to a good heart. Whoever is born human has some measure of blessed fortune, like a moon already shining with a certain glow. Those who do good are like a waxing moon, from the first day to the 15th, steadily growing brighter. Those who do evil are like the waning moon. After the full moon, light diminishes until the 30th day, vanishing into darkness. Isn't that sad? But if we cherish our shining moon of virtue, letting our blessings grow, we become like a waxing moon from new to full, increasingly radiant. How enchanting is that? Reflecting the world as a mirror. The world is like a mirror. If we frown, the reflection appears to be at fault, yet that isn't so. Life itself is a mirror. If you smile, it smiles back. Therefore, don't stare with suspicion at others. Send out a kind smile, for the world has enough sorrow. If your mind is illuminated, you'll see clarity in life, even if fog surrounds you. Each person is like a mirror, a lesson. Keep your heart alive with compassion and understanding, fragrant as a flower's perfume. Human suffering often originates from greed, anger, and ignorance. To live in happiness, practice letting go, reduce desires, and accept imperfection as part of being human. Originally, life contains no suffering. Only when we start measuring gains and losses out of greed does suffering arise. Once we cling to it, suffering keeps us entangled until our final moment. No one else can rescue us from our own afflictions but ourselves. We carry many burdens in life, but we can choose which ones we want to bear and which to set down. Live as the Buddha did. He possessed nothing, yet he could use everything. Enjoy, but don't try to possess what has never truly belonged to you. Everyone knows we enter and leave this world with empty hands. So why do we work so hard to claim everything as ours? Your own body is your closest possession. You carry it everywhere. Yet the Buddha said, it is not yours. External objects are even less so. So why exhaust ourselves, creating karma and sinking into the cycle of rebirth, impermanence, and letting go? Sometimes, in the face of impermanence's destruction, we feel on the brink of collapse. But if we understand the principle of interdependent origination, we see that all this time we have enjoyed many gifts from the universe. Now it reclaims a part to give to others. It's natural. There's nothing to curse. On the other hand, there are people who disregard others' suffering for their own gain or amusement. Thus, in one person's gain or joy, another's loss or sorrow is often hidden. But why delve too deeply into life's negatives when that is its inherent nature? Know how to let go, truly let go, and your heart will be at peace. All suffering or happiness arises in our minds and dissolves there. As the mind is, so does our experience of life become. Our fate is born from our inner mind. The moment we choose a path, we shape our destiny. Don't dwell too much on the past. Live fully in the present and look toward the future. If you do so, tomorrow will surely be better. Again, sometimes confronting impermanence, we feel about to be undone. But if we grasp the truth of dependent origination, we realize we've long received countless gifts from the cosmos. It merely reclaims a bit to share with others. It is natural. Yet most of us don't want anyone to suffer, nor do we want to lose anything, always hoping for permanence, though life is inherently impermanent. Some even inflict suffering on others for their own benefit or amusement. Thus, one person's happiness can carry another's sorrow. Still, there's no need to dwell on the dark side of society. The world has always been so. Learn to let go, truly let go, and peace arises. Greeting a new day. Every morning, greet the day with a serene smile, letting the previous night's worries fade away. Greet the sunlight shining into your mind, gently offered by dawn. Greet the breeze that dances to the bird's song, the creeping bougainvillea reviving after storms, the echo of temple bells carrying a calm sutra into the world. Greet a new day, wishing today brings new joys. In each moment, let wisdom and love be the guiding principles, bringing sweet happiness in your life. To gain good things, learn to give. If you want empathy, practice tolerance. If you need care, show respect. If you desire respect from others, cultivate self-respect. Think about others' hardships. They, in turn, will be thoughtful about yours. Extend your hand to help when someone is in need, and you'll surely see some form of return, whether visible or invisible. People do not share the same body, so they'll never fully understand each other's hearts. What you find simple might be heavy pressure to someone else. What you consider trivial could weigh on another's mind for days. We are not them. Thus, perspectives differ, leading to misunderstandings. If we can swap places mentally, troubles diminish. Treat each other sincerely, and relationships grow deeper. People often say, it's only when we lose something that we realize what we once had. In truth, you've always known what you have, but mistakenly believe it can never be lost. Seize every moment of daily life. One day you'll look back and see how precious even the smallest details were. Sometimes, only when experiences turn into memories do we recognize their value. From another angle, if we think it through, many things we lose actually bring us more peace than if we had kept them. Some difficulties just endure a bit, and they pass. Small annoyances bear them for a while, and the issue can be resolved. Certain arguments stay patient for a moment, and there's no need to continue. Some affections hold on a bit, and we may not want to pursue them further. Some people, after waiting a while, you don't mind if they leave. Usually, even when you try your hardest, others may not care. Or when someone encourages you, keep trying, you might feel nobody notices. Sometimes heaven doesn't give you what you want, not because you're unworthy, but because it plans to give you something better. Life is simpler if you live lightly, but few people can do that. Many complicate their own lives, thus they suffer. The most crucial point, what you need to pick up, don't hesitate. What you need to put down, put it down. To start something, you must end something else. And no matter how mundane life may seem, you must face it, don't run away or blame fate. Time always pushes people in and out of your life. Don't lose your chance to make your existence meaningful. The parable of salt in water. If you pour a spoonful of salt into a glass, that water becomes very salty. But if you pour the same spoonful into a lake, it hardly affects the lake's taste. Our troubles are like salt. How salty or severe they become depends on how big our body of water is, how large or open our mind is. Happiness arises from joy in simple things, from a calm, open attitude. Overthinking or overcalculating complicates a straightforward matter. Conversely, if you see it lightly and don't fret, even a complicated matter becomes simpler. In life, to gain also means to lose. Giving does not always bring immediate returns. Life has its own flow. Keep walking forward, the future lies ahead. Grant yourself a pair of liberating wings so you can step past pain and entanglements, becoming a happier person. Forget about the years and your age. Do not let time make your spirit old. As long as your heart remains young, that is enough. Rise above the temptations of fame and fortune, outer things that are impermanent. Everyone wants a little recognition, a little gain. They fight for it and blame life for being unfair when they don't succeed. But truly, the greatest happiness is a life of simple normalcy. When facing a vexing problem, find a still moment. Let the mind settle. Look at the wildflowers by the roadside. Even tiny, they bloom vibrantly, brightening the world. Suddenly, you see how beautiful it is. In life, if there is profit, don't seize it all. If you spend your days chasing benefit, you'll never know contentment. Pause at the right time. Even if you are in the right, do not force someone else into a corner. Disputes in the human world can drag on forever without true resolution. Even if you win, you risk losing your kindness and lightness. Even if you're exceptionally talented, never belittle others. Comparing person to person easily wounds feelings. Comparing object to object easily leads you to discard something. If you're too shrewd, those around you will doubt you. If you're too perfectionist, you'll spark resentment. If you're too arrogant, people will avoid you. Overthinking breeds worry. Letting your mind become too critical traps you in illusions. Wanting too much saps your energy. Only when we feel happiness within do our days truly flow, body and mind at ease, and we see the goodness of life clearly. A single cruel word can ignite conflict. A single kind word can spark many good deeds. Sometimes persuading someone requires 1,000 words, yet one harsh phrase can destroy it all. So we must speak with utmost care, forethought, and sincerity if we wish to avoid regrets. Everyone has strengths. Just learn from others' positive traits and limit criticism. Anyone can be your teacher in helping you grow. Admiring others from dawn till dusk is less effective than turning inward to reflect on how to improve yourself. Trying to plot and ensure no one surpasses you pales next to quietly working to become stronger yourself. Looking back, many of our past worries or fascinations were not worth it. The pains that used to torment us can become as light as a breeze once we've gained perspective. Therefore, for any challenge in life, don't rush. Keep calm and steady. Open up a little, and no problem is unsolvable. Faces reflect our hearts. Why do some people after middle age have gentle, blessed-looking faces, while others look harsh, full of hostility? Because appearance follows the mind. If your heart is peaceful and loving, your face will show it. Love can nourish a person. When you brim with love, your every move conveys warmth. But if you always measure and compare, dissatisfaction will follow you everywhere. Good deeds generate virtue. Intelligence may be a gift from birth, but kindness is a choice. True, kindness won't grant us everything we wish for, but it keeps our inner self calm. The mind is like a road. The more we clear it, the wider it becomes. If we can't expand our hearts, we remain narrow. A roomy house can't compare to a spacious heart. Good luck can't compare to a kind heart. Each human birth comes with a certain measure of blessing, like a moon shining with a certain brightness. The doer of good is like a waxing moon, from the first day to the 15th, shining ever brighter. The doer of evil is like a waning moon after the 15th day, fading into darkness by the 30th. How sad that is. If we cherish our own shining moon of merits, letting blessings grow, we become like the moon that goes from new to full, ever more radiant. How wondrous is that? Life is a mirror. If you scowl, you think the reflection scowls at you, but it's just reflecting you. Smile into the mirror and it smiles back. So don't keep glaring at others suspiciously. Offer a gentle smile to a world already brimming with sorrows. When your mind is bright, life feels transparent, even in thick fog. Everyone is a mirror. A lesson: stay open-hearted, with compassion and understanding, like the fragrance of flowers. The three poisons: greed, anger, and ignorance. Much of human suffering stems from greed, anger, and ignorance. To live happily, learn to let go, reduce our endless desires, and accept imperfection as integral to our humanity. Life inherently holds no suffering, but once we obsess over personal gains, we invite suffering after suffering until the end. No one else can save us, only we can. We shoulder many burdens in our life, but we can choose which to carry and which to put down. Live like the Buddha. He possessed nothing yet could make use of everything. Enjoy things without trying to possess what never truly belonged to you. Everyone knows we arrive in this world and leave it empty-handed. Then why struggle to claim everything as ours? Even our own body, always with us, is said by the Buddha to be not ours. If even that is not truly ours, how can external things belong to us? Why wear ourselves out chasing them, creating harmful karma, and sinking in worldly cycles? Impermanence and diligence. At times, impermanence strikes, leaving us feeling broken. Yet if we absorb the teachings on interdependence, we see that we've long consumed the universe's gifts. Now the universe reclaims a portion to redistribute elsewhere. That's only natural, there's nothing to curse. Some, however, disregard others' suffering for their own gain or entertainment. In their delight, another's sorrow lurks. Still, let's not dwell on the negative side of society. The nature of this world has always been so. If we can let go, truly release, peace arises within. All suffering and happiness begin and end in the mind. However your mind is, so will be your experience of life. Our destiny is shaped from within. Each time we take a path, we shape our future. Don't worry too much about the past. Live fully in the present and look ahead. Do this and tomorrow can only get better. If today were the last day. Sometimes, when you think about death and how fragile life is, like someone who just survived a grave illness, these reflections can give you the strength to cut off pointless pursuits. If you only had one day to live, would you still hurry, bicker, and scramble for the world's trivialities? Would you remain lazy, indifferent, or calculating toward loved ones? Would you indulge in meaningless pleasures or harbor deep grudges, spewing malicious acts and words? Or would you just want a peaceful morning, sitting under your porch, having a simple meal with your family, truly looking into the eyes of your children, noticing the silent devotion of parents, saying something to bring a smile to those you love? In facing death, even the coldest hearts may thaw. Confronting death, gains and losses lose significance, as do material ambitions and deep resentments. Time is too short to cling to them. We begin to choose what truly matters: sincerity and love. A kind person would choose an honest, gentle approach to everyone. They would do meaningful things, speak kind words, regard life with gentle eyes, hold others with warmth, step lightly to avoid harming anyone along the way, breathe calmly to listen deeply to the world. Why do we so often fail to govern ourselves, letting negative urges and trivial disputes overshadow us? Whenever that happens, remember that the way to love everything in this harsh life is to see that everything, indeed, will vanish. Everything will be lost eventually. Contemplation of our own existence. Who are we in this dusty world, scurrying for success and failing, lost in the cycle of suffering? Sometimes, if you climb a mountain, lie on a rock, listen to birds calling in the forest, you'll sense the echoes of ancient karma. The streams whisper their question: who are you? Are you the one treading the worldly path? Have you ever tried pausing to watch the world go by, realizing life never truly stops changing, like waves continually crashing on the shore. Often, there are more waves of trouble than waves of peace. Yet ironically, even when life is calm like a silent sea, some of us cannot accept that as happiness. We must stir up storms and conflicts just to feel we exist or to garner attention. Must it be so? Is our soul truly so light that we drift with every whim, as though we were a puppet of our own ego, searching for happiness and sorrow, only to become the victim of that same ego? One secret to living peacefully and happily is knowing how to simplify complex matters, greet everything calmly, accept all that comes, and relish each fleeting moment of ease or joy. The story of the perfect circle. Once upon a time, there was a perfect circle very proud of its flawless shape. One morning it woke up and found it had lost a large piece, turning it into a triangle. It felt terribly upset. The circle set off to find its missing piece. Because it was no longer a perfect circle, it rolled slowly, no longer smooth. At first it was sad, but gradually it felt at ease, enjoying the warm sunshine, listening to birdsong, admiring flowers, chatting with little insects. Over days and months, it picked up all sorts of shapes. None of them fit quite right. It kept searching. One day, it found a piece that fit perfectly. Thrilled, it felt complete once again and rolled forward with ease. But now it rolled so fast that flowers on the roadside were just a blur, birdsong hardly audible in the rush of wind. Everything around it changed. Realizing how the world was slipping by, the circle stopped, set the piece aside, and continued rolling imperfectly, slowly, once more. The lesson: we don't have to be perfect to be happy. If what you value most is money, all you will receive is money, nothing more. But happiness is an entirely subjective feeling rooted in being content with life and how you perceive the world. Inner peace does not necessarily depend on wealth, possessions, affection, or status. Giving and the flow of life. You may sometimes feel life is unfair. You give much, yet receive little in return. But actually, in giving, you've already received a great deal, the invisible joy you may not realize you're experiencing. All of us are born in this world owing each other. Giving and receiving are just ways we repay these mutual debts. When you give genuine goodness, you receive inner peace. True giving means you don't calculate or expect payback. The more you do, the more frustrated you'll become, and the less joy you'll feel in your own heart. All our actions toward helping, loving, hating, resenting arise because of karma and affinity, duyen. The initial encounter is determined by fate, but whether it blossoms into love and deeper connection is up to us, nurtured by how each person gives of themselves. Yet even in love, we might find joy or sorrow. We're all in a circle of cause and effect. Even knowing we might get hurt, keep giving anyway, because giving is also a form of self-love. It means joining the ongoing current of life and humanity. Death doesn't truly exist, for the end is also the beginning of something new. Often looking at our reflection in a river, if we smile, we see a smile in return. Holding on to a virtuous mind, we trust that tomorrow happiness will come. Sowing good thoughts is sowing seeds of virtue, blossoming into good deeds, bearing sweet fruit. Everyone is born with a seed of kindness. If we water and tend it, it can grow into a great tree. But some lose this seed and become indifferent. Some spoil it, becoming cruel. Yet no one can do without kindness, nor is anyone beyond redemption by genuine compassion. Even the hardest heart can soften when touched by true kindness. The highest level of kindness is not caring about returns, giving without needing recognition. Do you believe some people only realize they've been alive when they draw their final breath? When we have little, we want more. When we have more, we crave even more. But when everything is gone, we wish we still had just a little. Only a little would be enough. There is a saying, know contentment, and you will always be content. If you don't, when will you ever find contentment? Knowing sufficiency is a key to peace. Life is not a race, but a journey to discover meaning, step by step. The greatest point is not the reward at the finish line, but the experiences and insights gained along the way. Therefore, we should be conscious that we live in each breath. Otherwise, we are merely existing, not truly living. We know we come and go empty-handed. Why fight so hard over what's never truly ours? Living among worldly illusions, though the path may branch in countless directions, keep walking with wisdom and compassion. Recognize that all suffering and joy originate within your own mind. Your fate is shaped by your heart and choices. Don't linger too long in the past. Live fully in the present and direct your gaze toward the future. In so doing, tomorrow will surely shine more brightly. Greet each morning with a serene smile. Let all troubles dissolve with the night. Greet the early light that embraces your soul, the breeze dancing with birdsong and rustling flowers. Greet a new day and pledge to make it truly new, cherishing each second. Let compassion and understanding guide every breath, so life's sweetness may bloom gently. If you wish to be treated kindly, treat others kindly. If you desire empathy, first show tolerance. If you want others to care, start by cherishing them. If you want respect, begin with self-respect. Everyone sees the world differently. Something trivial to you may be a heavy burden to someone else. True sincerity in how we treat others fosters trust and mutual harmony. In the end, many realizations only emerge when we lose something, so value it while you have it. Learn to yield. Sometimes losing a small thing spares you endless grief. A few words can solve a big problem. A brief moment of tolerance can end a heated quarrel. Have the courage to let some people and things go. This is not weakness, it's wisdom to keep your path unimpeded. The sky can't always be bright. Life can't always give you everything you want. So learn acceptance and mercy. Let go of those who trouble you. The world rarely sees how much injustice you've experienced. It cares only about the end result. So if clouds loom, remind yourself the sun will soon shine again. Don't bother complaining, few pay attention anyway. Many things, once released, bring relief. Some people, just thinking of them, brings joy. Certain pains, once understood, can strengthen you. Overcomplicating anything traps you in endless loops. Even small matters turn complex with enough overthinking. Yet if we remain calm and open-hearted, even complex issues simplify. Life moves forward in cycles, gaining means losing. Giving isn't always reciprocated immediately. The future is ahead, so keep going. Give yourself wings to fly beyond pain and attachments. Be happy. Age is just a number. Youth is in the heart. Rise above the illusions of fame and fortune. The greatest happiness is a straightforward, ordinary life. A kind word can spawn infinite blessings. A harsh word can unleash conflict. Speak carefully. Everyone has strengths. Focus on learning from them. Keep your eyes on yourself and strive for self-improvement. Many worries that haunted us prove negligible later. Approaching problems with calm and clarity, you'll find few things truly impossible. Good or bad face, kind or hostile, so much is shaped by the mind within. A caring heart fosters empathy and good deeds. An endlessly calculating mind fosters misery. Intelligence is natural talent. Kindness is a choice. Though kindness can't secure everything, it grants inner peace. The mind is a road. The clearer it is, the wider it grows. A broad heart opens wide possibilities. A truly big heart surpasses any grand mansion. A compassionate heart transcends all good luck. We each carry some blessed fortune like a luminous moon. Those who do good are like a waxing moon, growing brighter daily. Evil acts are like a waning moon, descending into darkness. Cherish your bright moon. Let goodness grow and shine more each day. Life is a mirror. Frown and you see a frown. Smile and it smiles back. Don't suspect others for no reason. Offer a gentle smile to a world already heavy with sorrow. Brighten your heart and life appears more transparent, even in the mist. Each person is a mirror. A lesson: hold compassion, radiate understanding like the scent of a flower. Greed, anger, ignorance are the roots of suffering. Ease your desires and accept imperfection in yourself and others to find happiness. Life, in essence, has no suffering. It is our craving and attachment that bring perpetual sorrow until our last breath. Only we can free ourselves. We carry many burdens, but we can choose which to keep and which to release. Live like the Buddha, owning nothing, yet able to enjoy everything. Partake in all things without clinging to what was never ours to begin with. We all enter and leave this life empty-handed. Why fight so hard to claim it all? Even our body, which we think we own, is said by the Buddha to be not truly ours. So how can anything external belong to us? Why toil and create karmic entanglements that lead us to suffer more? Yes, sometimes impermanence devastates us, but if we understand interdependence, we see it as the universe merely redistributing its gifts. Some may disregard others, suffering for personal gain, so in one's joy, there is another's misery. That is the nature of life. Let us not drown in it. Know to let go, truly let go, and find peace. All suffering and joy originate in the mind. As we think, so we feel. Our destiny is determined by our heart's choices. Let us not cling too tightly to the past. Living fully in the present while looking to the future will surely brighten our tomorrows. Good morning, smile gently, and allow your worries of yesterday to fade. Greet the early sunbeams shining clarity into your soul, the birds' carefree songs, the delicate blossoms that have awakened after the night's rest. May the temple bell's serene echo convey blessings to life. Greet this new day with the wish that today really be new, that your heart be joyful and the world beautiful, guided every moment by wisdom and compassion. In such sweetness lies true happiness. If you want something good, start by giving. If you want understanding, offer tolerance. If you want care, learn to cherish others. If you want respect, begin with self-respect. If you consider other people's hardships, they will think of yours. Offering a hand when someone needs it ensures the circle of giving continues. Final words on being human. We cannot fully understand each other's hearts. Something easy for you might be a heavy load for others. Something you brush off might gnaw at another for days. We differ in viewpoint and mindset, so misunderstandings are natural. If you can pause and view things from the other's position, the knots of misunderstanding loosen. Sincerely care for one another, and love deepens. We often say, only when we lose something do we realize its value. In truth, you've always known what you have. You simply assumed it would never vanish. Seize the small wonders of life every day. For one day, you will look back and realize how precious they were. Some moments only reveal their worth when they become memories. Sometimes letting something go brings more peace than holding on. Sometimes enduring a bit dissolves a vexing issue. Enduring words that cut deeply saves you from fruitless arguments. Enduring certain attachments spares you more heartache. Letting go of certain people spares you from endless waiting. Often, people around you won't notice how hard you work or how deeply you suffer. If they say don't give up, they may not pay much heed to your struggles anyway. Sometimes the heavens don't give you what you want because they plan something better in store. Life is simpler for those who live lightly, but many choose complexity, thereby suffering. So pick up what you must, put down what you can. Endings lead to beginnings. Embrace your responsibilities, meet life head-on. Don't dodge or complain about fate. Time moves on, people come and go. Don't let your chance to create a meaningful life slip away. Like pouring salt into a lake instead of a cup, expand your heart to dilute life's bitterness. Happiness comes from gentle joy and an open mind. Overthinking spawns complexity. Staying calm and broad-minded dissolves difficulties. Life's flow is give and take. Not every gift is repaid. The future waits, just keep going. Give yourself wings of freedom and move past old pain. Be happy. Forget the years. Don't let time age your soul. However many birthdays have passed, if your heart remains young, that is enough. Step away from chasing temporary fame and fortune. A simple, ordinary life is true happiness. When vexed, pause and let yourself be still. Notice the tiny flowers on the roadside, though small. They proudly color the world, making it all the brighter. In life, if you see profit, don't grasp it all. Spend your days hoarding and you'll never be satisfied. Even if you're right, don't corner someone with your logic. Debates can go on forever. Winning might cost your kindness and peace. Even if you're talented, don't belittle others. Comparing people hurts feelings. Comparing objects leads you to discard something. If you seem too shrewd, people will doubt you. Too perfectionistic, you'll be resented. Too arrogant, you'll be shunned. Overthinking invites worry. Picking everything apart enslaves you in details. Wanting too much drains your spirit. Only when your heart feels content do the days pass lightly, your body and mind free, and you see life in a brighter way. A single cruel remark can trigger conflict. A kind word can bring many blessings. Sometimes you need 1,000 words to counsel a person. Sometimes one harsh sentence can undo all efforts. Therefore, speak with care to avoid regret. Everyone has unique talents. Learn from others' strengths and minimize criticism. Anyone can be your teacher in self-improvement. Paying constant attention to others' successes is less useful than reflecting on yourself and applying what you learn. Plotting to keep everyone beneath you is less effective than quietly building your own strength. Reflect on once intense worries or passions that now appear trivial. Much that hurt us deeply becomes as fleeting as a breeze once we gain perspective. So never rush in dealing with any issue. Remain calm, composed, and open. The most tangled knots can be undone. Why do some at midlife radiate gentleness while others exude bitterness and hostility? Because form arises from the mind. A loving heart lights up the face. A calculating mind lingers in sorrow. Compassion generates virtue. Intelligence is a gift. Kindness is a choice. Kindness may not grant every wish, but it bestows a peaceful heart. Our mind is like a roadway. Keeping it clean makes it wide. A wide mind is better than a narrow one. A big heart surpasses a big house. Good fortune pales before a good heart. Each of us carries some karmic fortune, like a moon shining at its own brightness. The kind are like a moon waxing from new to full. The cruel are like a moon waning from full to new. Cherish your bright moon, let its blessings grow and shine ever more radiantly. Life is like a mirror. Frown, and you see a frown. Smile, and it smiles back. Don't look at others with suspicion. Send them a kind smile instead. The world carries plenty of sorrow already. If your heart is clear, life is illuminated even in dense fog. Everyone around you is a mirror and a lesson. Hold compassion and understanding. Spread the fragrance of empathy like a flower in bloom. Human suffering often arises from greed, anger, and ignorance. Thus, if you want peace, reduce your desires, let go of attachments, and accept imperfection in yourself and others. Life is not inherently painful. Once we chase personal gain, it's as if we open the door for suffering to enter and cling to us till the end. Only we can rescue ourselves. We each shoulder multiple burdens. We decide which ones to carry and which to put down. Live like the Buddha, who owned nothing yet could embrace everything. Enjoy, but never cling to what was never ours. We all arrive with empty hands, and so we leave. Why exhaust ourselves in vain? This body, closest to us, isn't truly ours, the Buddha taught. How much less are external things ours? Why create suffering in pursuit of illusions? Sometimes we feel we're collapsing under impermanence, but if we understand dependent origination, we realize we've simply borrowed from the universe's treasury, and now it reclaims a bit to share. Some seize joys at the expense of others' sorrows, yet this is the way of the world. If you can let go, truly let go, your mind will rest in peace. All joys and sorrows come from within. As the mind is, so is life. Our fate unfolds from our heart's direction. Don't cling to the past. Live fully now, looking to tomorrow. Then your future will be bright. May we each greet tomorrow with a tranquil mind, a smiling heart, and a compassionate spirit.